Hey guys, Jeff here. I've got another game I want to show you. It's actually on Kickstarter right now and going until May 1st. So let's get this out there and show you Clash, Dawn of Steam by Mad Ape Games. Clash, Dawn of Steam. Asymmetric gameplay, card game, battling for locations and the fate of the realm between a champion of hope and a herald of fear. And spoiler alert, really cool game. Let me go ahead and show you some components and maybe give you the gist of gameplay, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more. Okay, components for Clash Dawn of Steam. I have them set up here, and as we pull them off, what we have underneath here is a really cool play mat that is actually an add-on, and I believe the one we have here is one of the Kickstarter exclusive play mats. So we'll give you a look at that as the components come off. So easy components here. We got 6 battle dice here, regular D6s there. And we've got, let's go ahead and take a look at our champions. So in this, here is one of 2 champions of hope. So what you get out of this, you get their name, kind of who they are, that they're a champion of hope, the element that they're good in, and the amount of crystals they start with. Here's a little spot to kind of keep track of crystals. They recommend a D20. So this one will start with 13 crystals at the beginning of the game. Special ability. When allies you control of the air type attempt to foil a minion, that ally may re-roll their lowest combat die. So a nice little special ability you have there. And then down here, Pupil of the Magi. This is kind of your combat value. This basically kind of relates to how many dice this champion gets to roll if they're directly direct attacked. And they're also able to spend them to adjust die rolls in other battles, but of course as they do that, then they lose dice to defend themselves. So again, there's one champion of hope. Here's another champion of hope. 12 pair, different ability, different amount of dice it gets. And then from the champion of hope, we go to the 2 heralds of fear. But same basic breakdown. Dice, special ability, number of crystals they start with, element. So there's a quick look at the champions and heralds of fear. So you'll select one of those, and then you'll also have a deck. Here we have the Champion of Hope deck. Right on top here is just a summary of what you'll do on your turn. And then you have a 40 card deck. Now the game does come with extra cards. There is a kind of a deck building element to it if you want to create your own decks. But you will do a 40 card deck, and in your 40 card deck, our Champion of Hope here has 3 types of cards. Here you've got your ally. So, name of the ally, amount of dice it throws in combat, cost to put it out in crystals, fate points, which we'll get to in a minute, element, and this is a unique ally, so only one of them can be in play at a time, and then if it has any type of special ability, which in this case, let's see, what are we looking at here? Rather than make a foil attempt, you may place a fate token on this card to give another ally's card +1 combat value this turn. So basically you can put a fate token on here and give somebody else an extra die. Then we've got resources. So the Declaration of War costs 3 to put out. But then it's going to start giving us extra crystals. Now, if you don't have resources out, you're only getting 1 crystal at the beginning of your turn. So it takes a while to build them up, and I believe the cheapest thing I've seen to put out is 3 crystals. So if you, let's say, use up your 13 crystals for this Champion of Hope real quick, if without resources, you're getting 1 a turn, 1 a turn. It's a very slow build. So you definitely want to get some resources. And so if you have a resource out, you get whatever the resource gives you instead of just 1. So in this particular instance, at the start of your turn, gain 2 crystals or gain 3 if an opponent has 2 or more minions in play. So you can potentially get more crystals because of that. And then you have order cards. Title. Number of crystals. Again, 6. You're looking at a lot of crystals to put that out if you start cycling through them quick. Give an ally's card of your choice +1 combat value this turn. Discard this card at the start of your next upkeep phase. So just some special ability type cards that you can put out. So you've got a mix of that in your 40 card deck. This is the Hope deck. Of course, the Herald of Fear, same thing. You'll see what they do on their turn. And then they have a 40 card deck that is very similar. They have resources. Same concept. Name, how much it costs to put it out, and what it's going to get you. At the start of your turn, gain 4 crystals or roll a die. On a 5+, put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. They have chaos cards instead of order cards. Type, cost, again, 12. Discard an enemy resource card, then discard the top card of your deck. This card has been the bane of my existence as a Champion of Hope in a few games. And instead of allies, the Herald of Fear has minions. Number of dice it's throwing in combat. Name, cost, and again, any special ability, element, and fate points. Here, we just have fate tokens, basically. These are going to start getting put underneath your minions and allies. And once you get the number of fate counters equal to their fate point total, something will happen. And it's slightly different for champions and for Hope and Fear. But that's all this is. Kind of same front and back, just token cards. Could have been anything, could have been cubes. They went with cards in this instance. And again, this is a prototype. Not sure if it'll stay that way. Oh, I forgot about these little tokens here off to the side. All these is to kind of show on your main character where you are in your dice total. And then it comes with, now there's going to be 2 different sets, but each set, I believe, comes with 2 location decks, or setting deck. And so you will choose which one of these. When you come to a game, you basically bring a Hope and Fear deck and a location or setting. And basically what happened is you'll have, you know, you're hoping your fear deck, and whoever wins in a roll-off decides if they're playing hope or fear. And then the person that did not get to decide on hope or fear decides which setting deck you're using. And the setting deck, all these cards are pretty much the same, or are the same through this whole deck. And the back is just a little fluff on what the setting that you're battling over is. But what is different between the decks is what happens when the setting starts taking damage, or when cards start coming off the setting. And the main way that the Herald of Fear wins is if this deck is completely discarded. So cards come off this deck, that's actually damage. The Herald of Fear and its minions are out there causing all kinds of chaos and trying to destroy the setting. So looking at this one, irreparable damage. Each time one or more setting cards is discarded, roll on this table and apply the result. On a roll of a 1, the champion or hero must discard a card. 2 through 5, the champion or hero gains 4 crystals. And a 6, the Herald of Fear may gain 1 combat value. So basically get 1 more back to their health / dice total that they get to roll. And this was the Scuffle for the SS Rogue. This one, Great Gates of Arena. Again, same thing. As things get damaged and come off, you roll the die. The Herald of Fear must discard a card. 2 through 5, the Herald of Fear gains 3 crystals. On a 6, the Champion of Hope may draw a card. So you'll pick one of those locations to be battling over. And then here we go. This, again, nice play mat. They have one for each of the characters that you can be. And this one, like I said, I believe is a Kickstarter exclusive. So once the Kickstarter is over, they won't be making this particular playmat anymore. I believe there's 2 of them that they have like that. So nice little playmat, kind of cool thing. Awesome art. Again, this is prototype, but I think especially in the art realm, most of the art on these cards are final art. And I like the look of it so far. But let me show you just a real quick look at gameplay. Alright, so what we got here is a real quick setup for the game. We've got our Champion of Hope on this side, our Herald of Fear over here, and our location deck up here, the Great Gates of Arena. And I'm using cubes here to represent the crystals, with the red being a 10, the whites being 1s. So 13 over here, 12 over here. Decks off to the side, reference cards, dice. We're all set to go. Start of the game, everybody draws 5 cards. We've determined that our Champion of Hope will go first. So Champion of Hope's turn goes like this. They have an upkeep phase. So they can do the following things in any order. They can draw a card. They can collect, if they've got resource cards out, they can collect the resources from that. Or if they don't have any resources out, they can gain a resource. So I don't have any resources out this first turn, so I will gain another resource. Now she's up to 14, and then she can draw a card. So she's going to draw another card, put it in her hand. I'm taking a look at her hand, because now we're going on to the planning phase. And in the planning phase, again, any order you want. You can play as many ally cards as you want from your hand, keeping in mind that you can only have 3 allies in play at a time. Same thing goes for the Herald of Fear. When we get there, they can only have 3 minions in play at a time. I can play 1 resource card from my hand, and I can play as many order cards as I want from my hand. Well, I don't want to continue to just get 1 resource a turn if I can help it. So I've got 2 resources in my hand here. I've got one that'll cost me 3 crystals, one that'll cost me 5. But one of them is going to get me 2 crystals a turn. The other one's going to get me 3. I think I'll go ahead and spend my 5, which I will turn in my 10. Get 5 singles back, and go ahead and put the hard book on the family tree. Cost me 5. At the start of my turn, I gain 3 crystals, or I can roll a die. On a 6, you may remove a fate token from a target ally. So that comes into play. Now I go into the protector phase. Now the protector phase is if I wanted to try to play, say, an ally, which actually might not be a bad idea. Back in my planning phase, it says I could play as many allies as I want. I don't really want to go too quickly through my tokens there. I definitely want to keep at least 3 around so I can play this resource card next time. But let's see what we got here. I have an ally that'll cost me 6. It's got 2 fate points on it. Give me 5 dice. When this card is discarded, draw a card. That's not too bad. 2, 4, 6, which leaves me just what I need for next turn, although I will gain some stuff. So I'll put this ally out. So now the protector phase. I can try to foil the minions on the other side. Or, if there are no minions in play over here, I can make 1 direct attack against the Herald of Fear. So, what would a direct attack gain me? Well, one of the win conditions for, or the main win condition for the Champion of Hope is to score 10 minions. 10 minion points from the opposition, from the Herald of Fear. If I can do a direct attack and I'm successful at it, I get to draw randomly 1 card from my opponent's hand, so from the Herald of Fear's hand. If that card happens to be a minion, I get to score it right away. Otherwise, I got to whittle them down in combat, get them down to 0 before I can score it. So let me just go ahead and show you. I'm gonna go ahead and do the direct attack. I get 5 dice. 2, 4, 5. 4s, 5s, and 6s are hits. 1, 2s, 3s are misses. So you get 50-50 on each dice. I do the roll. Let's see, that's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 miss. So I got 4. Now, Herald of Fear is still up to 7 dice though. So they'll roll all of these plus 1 more. Ties go to the Herald of Fear. 1, 2, 3. That was a 4. Put that back. But still got 1 more die. And 4. Again, ties go to the Herald of Fear. So no successful direct attack. So from there, basically what I can do, again, I don't have anything to foil, which if there was something to foil, I wouldn't have been able to do the direct attack right away anyway, because there has to be no minions in play when I do that. So basically I just make sure I am under 7 cards, which I am, and the turn will go over to our Herald of Fear. So first thing, no resources to collect. And you can do this in any order, but I'm just going to go ahead. There's no resources, so it's just going to be a 1. And they're going to draw a card. And that is essentially their resource phase, same as the Champion of Hope's resource phase. Now we go into what they call the Mastermind phase. It's kind of the same as the planning phase. you can, in any order, play as many minion cards as you want. Again, a limit of 3 in front of you at a time. Play 1 resource card from your hand, or play as many chaos cards as you want. And you can attempt 1 direct attack at a Champion of Hope if there's no allies in play. So I do have an ally, so of course right now I'm not going to be doing that. Now it's kind of important to know that the minions for the Herald of Fear are never really attacking. They're not attacking the allies and stuff. But if there's no allies out here, every once in a while they'll take a jab at the Champion of Hope. We've drawn, we take a look. It would be really nice if we had something for resources. We don't have anything for resources right now. Got some chaos stuff. I'd really like to see some resource stuff. So maybe I spend the 5 on this chaos card. Get 5 back. And use its ability to draw 2 cards. None of which are resources. Unfortunate. Alright, so I didn't get any resources out of that. But maybe I want to kind of try to stem the flow of direct attacks on me. So I'm going to go with something like this. It's going to cost me 6. So 2, 4, 6. Now I'm really low on crystals, but I'm going to put this Darkstalker of Eden out. Cost me 6. Can roll 5. This card may attempt to direct attack twice per turn instead of once. So I'm just going to put that out on there. And as long as that is still in play, there will be no more direct attacks against my Herald of Fear. And then we go into what is the advancement phase. So you place a fate token on your minion. So I come up here, I grab a fate token. This guy's got a fate token on him now. What does that mean to me? Well, you see, we talked about we showed you the fate point value at the bottom there. As soon as this guy has 2 fate tokens on it at the beginning of your turn, which is something I forgot to talk about. This is where their upkeep phase is a little bit different. They can score minion cards in the upkeep phase. So as soon as this guy's got 2 cards underneath them to equal his fate point total, he can score. What does that mean to score? Well, that means this guy gets to take 2 cards off of the settings deck. So it starts to do damage. So this will get come off, go into the discard pile, and 2 cards will come off of the fate deck. So basically that's kind of representative of them running around, causing chaos, and doing what they can to destroy the setting that you're going against. Alright, once again, and I did have to draw some cards, so let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am under 7. So we go back over to our Champion of Hope. Champion of Hope has a resource out. Let's go ahead and collect that. I'm going to go ahead and gain the 3 that I would get from that. I will draw another card. And like I said last time, I really want to make sure I keep getting resources. So I'm going to play that resource I had, the Home of the Enlightened, which is going to give me 2, or I can roll a die, and on a 5+, I get to put a card from my discard back into my deck. So stuff like that is some of the only ways you're going to get stuff back into your deck. One of the other win/lose conditions for the game is if you have to, if you draw the last card from your deck that automatically ends the game, and that's like an auto lose. So if you're the first player to basically deck out. So having the ability to kind of get cards back is kind of nice as well. Alright, so I've played my resource, and as you look at the cards I've got here, nothing I can afford to put out right now. So we're just going to go ahead and move on. And you know what? I'm going to show you what it means for the fate point total on the ally side. So I've got, I look across the board here, I see there's a minion. He's got 1 fate point token on him. What I can do is try to foil his attempt to cause chaos in the realm. So I'm going to try to foil the attempt. Now, no matter what happens, I get a fate card. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. If I total 2 fate cards, this guy gets discarded. So no matter what, win or lose, he gets a fate card. So as the attacker, he's going to roll his 5 dice. So I've got 2 right now. Now, one of the lucky things I have is my champion's special ability is when allies you control of air attempt to foil a minion, they may re-roll their lowest combat value. So I can re-roll this 1, and I got a hit out of it. So now I've got 3 successful hits. The champ, or the defender here, has 5 dice as well. One. So they were not successful, which means they lose this fate token, which goes back onto the fate deck there. And since they're at 0 fate cards, because of a foil of attempt, the champion gets to score this. Now, the champion wins when they've collected 10 points of minions. So that's 2 of the 10 points our champion needs. Off to a good start for Champion of Hope. Alright, so then we kind of go into looking at making sure I don't have too many cards. I'm good. Go back over. Still only collecting 1. That's not a good thing. Gonna do a draw. Hey, it's a resource, but it's a resource that costs 9. Now this is where it was probably not a great idea to play the minion that early. And this is where you want to save up for your resources. So that's just a few rounds of playing the game. Again, let's just say, let's bring our minion out here. Let's say this guy was in play. Let's say he had the fate card. Start of the next turn, he was still here. Then he would be successful, go into the discard. The fate will go back. But since he was a 1 point, 1 card would come off of the deck. The die would get rolled. 6. The champion and hero gets to draw a card because that happened. And it's a may, so they can elect not to. But 1 point of damage would be done to the setting. Again, setting cards run out. Herald of Fear wins. 10 points of minions. Champion wins. Draw the last card of your deck. You automatically lose. And then the one thing we didn't cover, let's say This was our roll. There we go. Now let's say this was our, we'll go with our champion. Let's say our champion of hope, one of the allies rolled this, or even the champion rolled that, but let's say the ally rolled that. 2 successes. That's not too bad, but might not be quite what they want to do. The champion can, right now it would roll 7 dice to defend itself. It can go up to 5. So now it would only be rolling 5 dice, but it spent 2 points to say this is now a 4, and this is now a 4. So now those are successes. So now we've got 4 successes. And the champion has made themselves a little weaker, but they've tried to get an attack across. So that's one of the only other things I don't think we actually covered too much. So there's a real quick run through. Let me give you final thoughts. Okay, Clash, Dawn of Steam by Mad Ape Games. It's on Kickstarter till May 1st. Needs some love, go check it out. What do I think of this game? I really love this game. This was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it. Rulebook, could still use a little bit of help, but overall, not too bad. Easy. We eventually did find everything that we had questions on, I believe. Jordan and I got to play this game. We really enjoyed it. Jordan would be here for this video if he could, but we're kind of in a time crunch, and he had other things going on this weekend, and I'm trying to knock out videos that we need to get out there for you guys to check out. But I've been doing it a lot, and I've kind of looked around, and I know a lot of other people have been doing it, but kind of doing the Netrunner comparison. But that's not a bad thing. It's a very cool game in that, you know, your champion of hope and your herald of fear play a little bit different. You get to play around with the deck some. That's one of the things I really like about this game. The deck building aspect of this is light. And what I mean by that is you're not counting off points. You're not doing the math thing. There's a certain number of cards that you have for resources, for minions or allies, and your order or chaos cards, and that's it. You make sure you have that amount in your deck, and from that you just kind of try to make sure that things work together, or that they work with the champion that you want to do, or your herald. So it's a nice intro into deck building, because you're not breaking out that calculator. You're not like, I've got 1.75 points still to put in this deck. You're not doing any of that. You just got a straight 40 card deck that has a set number of each thing that needs to be in it. So that's really nice. This is a cool intro for people that want to get into that deck building style of thing. And the cards are nice. The artwork is great on this. I really love the artwork. Like I said, I think, this is a prototype, but I think a lot of this is finalized. It's a finalized prototype, as close to finalized as I think I've seen in a while. So really like it. The champions and the heralds look really cool. There's 2 different sets, so there's a couple other factions I haven't seen yet, and that's got me kind of excited, because I'd really love to see those factions. There's a lot going on in this game, but not as much, I think, as Netrunner, or say like your Game of Thrones LCG, stuff like that. All games that I really like and enjoy. This one is right there with it. This is one that I know Jordan and I have played and want to play more, and got really excited about the game as it went along. Some people may or may not like, the dice aspect of it, but I like that. I actually think, again, the whole battle, the clash, yeah, that's about the sweet spot for me when you want to start adding randomness into a game, is the arena style, or the battle, the clashes. I'm all right in that aspect. If my win or loss comes down to dice rolls, and there are things in place to help you mitigate some of the dice rolls, not only through special abilities, but again, you can weaken your champion or your herald to flip something to a success. So you have ways to manipulate the dice if you really want to. You just got to weigh if you want to. So all of these things together are really nice. There's if there's anything that I want to say on the slightly negative side, and it's not that negative. There's a couple things. One of my pet peeves, as you know, is the scoring aspect of thing. That's not here. Your scoring is very easy to do. You know where you are. But the fact that, and in the rule book even, they talk about using the D20 to keep track of your crystals, and they don't supply it. I think I've even seen on the Kickstarter that it's not supplied. It's actually a stretch goal. That bothers me a little bit. If you're going to talk about it in the rule book, if you're going to say it's something that should be done, you should include it with the game. That's my opinion. And of course, and if you get to the D20, please make sure it's a spin down D20, because I've used some D20s with this game that weren't spin downs. I couldn't find my spin downs because I don't play Magic anymore. I haven't forever, so I had my RPG D20s. And those are a pain. Where's the next number? Because it wasn't a spin down. And that's when we went to the cubes. We went back to, you know, the reds or whatever were 10s and the whites were 1s, and we kept track that way. That works well too. But it's an integral part of this game, so there should be trackers with it. And then the other thing I would say is there's not a lot you can do if you get resource shorted. And this is something, I don't know, if you go back, I mean, if you played a lot of other games, I mean, I've run into it in Netrunner a few times as well, where all of my income, all of my ability to get credits is down at the bottom of my deck. Always sucks when that happens. There's other games as well. I mean, you know, Magic, you get, you know, you get mana screwed every once in a while. This is a hard game to come back from, though, if your resources aren't showing up. So it would almost be nice if there was something in place to say, you know what, I'm dumping my turn, and I get to collect a couple extra resources or something like that, or a couple extra crystals. Just because the one crystal a turn thing can sometimes, you know, we've had the game's gone really nice when there's a good flow and everybody's got resources and that kind of thing. It gets really horrible when you're having problems getting resources on the board, and when you finally do, especially as the champion, the Herald's got the card that says, why don't you get rid of a resource? And you just saved up to put that resource on the board. I mean, it's taken you a while to get it there. So it would be kind of nice if there was just the, you know what, I'm dumping my turn or something to help you overcome that resource hump if you find yourself in it. That's it, though. Again, that happens. This is not the only game, like I said, I've had that happen. Netrunner and Game of Thrones and Magic and, you know, anything that relies on some kind of income system, you've potentially run into, especially in a card game. So minor things. Give me my D20s and make them spin downs. And I hate it when I don't get resources. It's late. I'm tired. But that's it. I mean, that is it. I mean, there's so much cool stuff going on with this game. There's so much, it's beautiful artwork. There's the fluff on the back of the setting cards if you want to check that out. All the setting cards are the same on the back of that setting. So it's not like each card tells a story or anything like that. But there's some fluff in the rule book. I would be very surprised if there wasn't going to be more fluff involved with this universe in general. But just the whole, the battle, the different abilities, the play a little bit different. the Herald of Fear, kind of just trying to cause chaos and attack the setting, where the Champion of Hope trying to, you know, push back the Herald of Fear and their minions, and take their minions out of play so the setting is safe. All of those things come together for a really nice game that we've really enjoyed. And again, simple, easy gateway to deck building, if you will. This isn't I don't think I'd call this a gateway game, but the deck building aspect of it is definitely in that gateway genre, because it, again, is so simple. It's not mathy, it's not anything. It's just like, here's the number of cards you have in this deck. You have a straight 40 card deck, and here is the breakdown. Make it happen however you want to. All right, I've rambled enough. Thanks for checking this out. Again, Clash, Dawn of Steam, love it. Think you should check it out. Goes until May 1st, and I will actually be talking to Jared, I think, here soon from Mad Ape Games. We're trying to get an interview in, if I remember right. That's coming up. We kind of squeezed one in, if I remember correctly. So I'll get to pick his brain a little bit about what went into this game. And I'm looking forward to that because, again, I'm a fan. May 1st, Clash, Dawn of Steam on Kickstarter now. Go give it some love. Thanks for checking in again. Good night.